Hi, everybody. It's Carol Maloney Scott with day 3 of Fall in Love with Your Job. And today I wanted to talk about the first step when you've decided to break up with your employer. So unless you're planning on just quitting, and leaving and launching a job search after you've quit, and most people aren't able to do that. If you are able to do that, though, sometimes, there's pros and cons to why that is a good idea or a bad idea. I think it really matters how miserable you are and how much your career unhappiness is creating problems for you at home. Is it affecting your health? Is it affecting your mental health, your overall wellness, your relationships, things like that? So, I mean, that's something really, for you and your doctor to talk about. But, if it's at that point, where you really, and you're able to do that financially, sometimes that is the best choice, even though, conventional wisdom tells us it's easier to get a job when you have a job. I think that falls into one of those limiting belief categories. I think, yes, that can be true, but there are plenty of people who quit jobs or who are unemployed who have no problem finding a new position. So really, that is something to balance. But if you have decided that you're going to stay where you are and launch a job search, the most important thing that you need to do is to figure out exactly what you are targeting. And the reason I say this is because it's a very common mistake that job seekers make when they're unhappy in their current role and they decide, that's it, I'm quitting, I have to find another job, yesterday. And they frantically update their resume, or maybe they send it to somebody that they know. I've had many people send me their resumes when I was a recruiter before I started my business. And sure, you do need to do that. Your resume needs to be updated. Your resume needs to be ready. But updating it with your current position or responsibilities is really not enough. And it's not the same as targeting and pinpointing what you want to do next. So you really need to do an evaluation of, so again, what do I want less of? What do I want more of in the next role? And, so are you targeting the same type of job that you're already doing? Is it the work or is it the organization? So do you want to continue to do the same type of job, but you just want to do it somewhere else in an organization with a different mission, or a different way of operating, or, because you want to work with different types of people or a different type of manager? Maybe the company's not doing well financially and you want to work for a company that is doing well and growing. So sometimes we want to do the same type of work, but oftentimes this is an opportunity to reinvent ourselves a little bit and think about, what do we really want to do now, right? If we're going to start looking for something else, it's really nice if we can take stock of what that really is, because if we don't do that, we are very likely to just take another job just to get out. I talk about all the time how it's not good to run away from something. You want to run to something. So the only way to run to something is to identify what that something actually really looks like, so you can recognize it and see it, when it presents itself, and you can actually target it. So it is very important to come up with a target. There's a lot of people that consider themselves to be generalists, most adults, by the time, we get to be our 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, we've probably done a lot of different things. We have different experiences and education and skills, and we can do more than one thing. I mean, I certainly know I can be a career coach, I can be a recruiter, I can be a trainer, I can be an author, I can be a speaker. I'm kind of all of those things because I'm, running my own business. But I can do a lot of different things, and that's just kind of scratching the surface of, the things that I would, think off the top of my head. But I know there's many other things that I'm capable of doing and that I would do very well. However, if we put ourselves out there in those 5 or 6 categories, if we're looking for a job and our resume reflects that, it's confusing to the reader of the resume, and it makes them feel like you're kind of all over the place and you're not really sure what it is that you want to do. So it is really important to make sure that your resume and really everything, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, all of your assets and all of your conversations with people revolve around whatever this target is. So for instance, I had a client who was a human resources generalist, and she really could have done a human resources role in pretty much any aspect of that field. However, when we really talked about it, she really liked the employee relations piece of it, and you know, helping to make the workforce more engaged, and you know, developing the employees. So that was really where her interests lie, and she actually had a lot of experience in that field, in that piece of the larger human resources puzzle. So we really just crafted her resume and all of her assets so that that's what we called her. You know, she was an employee relations specialist, and you know, whatever we called her. And she got a job very quickly because she was targeting something very specific. By targeting something very specific, you are deciding what you want, and you are eliminating other things. But eliminating other things is okay because you are now more narrowly focused on the thing that you want, and the people who want you for that thing are more likely to recognize you, and really you're more likely to recognize each other, you know, and come together in this new union where you can fall in love with your job, and hopefully, you know, your new employer can fall in love with you as an employee as well. So targeting what you want to do is very important. So even though I know you're unhappy in your job, you decided that leaving is the best thing to do, and finding another position is, you know, the right move for you. That's all great. I applaud you. You're gearing up to do it, and you're going to do it. But you really do have to take that step back and say, okay, before I start just applying for every job in the world, I need to figure out what is my ideal job, and that's where I need to start. Instead of starting general and then hoping that somehow that will narrow down, or we're expecting the hiring managers or the recruiters reading your resume to narrow it down for you, that is not going to happen. You have to take the initiative to narrow down your target and to start with that narrow target, knowing that the job that you want with your name on it is out there, and that you just need to position yourself to secure those offers. So think about targeting today, and how you can fall in love with your job, and, you know, dream a little. You know, what is the next role that you really want, and think about how you can position yourself. I do this with my clients all the time. So please reach out if you have any questions, if you'd like to talk about it, or explore working with me. I'd love to talk with you about it. And in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will be back tomorrow to talk more about falling in love with your job. Thanks. Bye-bye.